I just saw a whitey do a U-turn outside of my apartment. And he was like, "Doo-doo." No, really though. I just saw a whitey do a U-turn outside my apartment. But another thing I forgot to mention was last night when I walked to Walmart, there's this guy that walked out of his house, and like there's this bush out in front of his house, like at the front of his yard, and then there's like this path to his house, you know. So like he walks up like out from behind the bush as I walk up, like I didn't see him coming, you know. And he just walks around the bush right as I'm walking up. And he walks up with a red shirt on right next to me. And then he's like, "Da-da!" And then I saw Whitey, and I saw other stalkers, and there's this other Whitey that parked. Right when I started the live stream, he parked. Oh! Da-da! I just heard some noise right when I walked through the doorway, and it was probably a stalker, and he was like, "Da-da!" He probably had a red shirt, even though I don't see him. He still has a red shirt on, or red underpants or something. And he's like, "Da-da! I'm stalk-tarded! Oh!" So what are the stalk-tards gonna do next? What are they gonna do next? You never know what stalk-tarded things are gonna happen. I know it's gonna be stalk-tarded, that's all that I know. And it's gonna be stalk-tarded up with other stalk-tards. And then it's gonna be stalk-tarded as fuck. So I know that for sure, but other than that, I don't know what's gonna happen. Or when it's gonna happen. Or what. So how's everybody doing? Is it stalk-tarded over there too? What stalk-tarded things are happening out your window? I heard a siren earlier. It was probably a stalk-tarded siren again, as usual. I don't know what it synced up with. But it went off for like 30 seconds, and then the horn went off, and then it turned off. So I don't know. It probably turned on sync with something, and it was probably stalk-headz. And he's like, da, da. Oh. Sup? What's up? Just Kel doing him. What's up, just Kel? I have a wonderful imagination. The AC outside my apartment keeps turning on and off sync over and over, and it's like, da, da, oh. So every time I move, it's like, and it's like, da, da, oh. I don't know who's pushing the button, but there's somebody on a computer screen in a fusion center pushing a button on the AC outside my apartment, turning it on and off, and they're like, da-da! I turned it off again. Da-da! I turned off his refrigerator again. Da-da! Da-da! Ah! Da-da! Da-da-da-da! Ah! No stalkers, no seat. Fake. You're fake, bro. You're not Stevie Wonder. Fake. Da-da! You're not a lion. Da-da! Ah! Da-da! see whiteyz. Oh. Set up a sink tardation. I'm gonna walk back over to the window in a minute. Get a guy with a red shirt ready. Have him standing right by the door so he can pop out right when I walk up to the window, right as the white truck drives out or something. And then go, da-da. Oh. Oh yeah, and I heard the train horn again earlier again. So that's twice I heard the train horn today. And he was like, oh! Everyone heard train horns. You're not special. Yeah. Did they hear him synced? Because every time I hear one, it's synced. And like every time it honks, it's synced. Pretty much. Pretty much. Especially if it's just a parked train sitting somewhere, it's every time that it it's every time that it honks, it's synced. Oh, my refrigerator just turned on synced. Oh! Da, da. But then, like, when it's a train rolling through, you know, it'll honk a bunch of times. So, like, there's a few times where it honks where, like, it might not be synced, but, like, pretty much every time it honks, even then, it's synced. Except for maybe a couple of times. Like, it'll still, like yesterday's video, it kept honking, like, as all these black cars were driving in front of me. As each black car drove in front of me, as all these black cars in a row. And when each car drove in front of me, the train horn was honking each time. And then he was like, da da! Because he's sync-tarded as fuck. Every time. And he's like, da da! Oh! Yup, same here. Same here, sync train horns. You get the sync train horns? Alright. Here we go. I'm gonna walk up to my window now. Oh! Someone walking out. Is she gonna get in the car synced when she gets in the car? She's walking all the way across the parking lot, and then right when she opens the door, two whiteyz drive out, and one of them's going in the parking lot. She just walked out right when I walked up to the window, and she was like, da da! And then the whitey pulled in the parking lot, and he's like, da da! And then he backed up and he drove forward again right as my water heater turned on. And it was like, da da! And then he was like, da da! And then I got retarded from all the retardations around me, and I was like, da da! And then she's taking off, and she's like, da da! And she's taking off right as the whitey is parking. In her black stalker car, and she's syncing up with another black stalker car, and a whitey, and another black stalker car. And they just got out of the whitey at the same time that they were syncing up with the other cars. Ah! And they're walking across the parking lot now. And then she synced up with another whitey when she turned out on the street, and with another, or she synced up with another black car, and with another whitey, and with another whitey. And then right as they walk up, a whitey goes around the corner, and the AC outside my apartment turns off, and then they go in the door, and nothing happened there though. But I think I heard them go, da da! And this tan car drove out with this black car at the same time, and they're starting a stalker parade with stalker cars behind them. And then they're like, da da! And then they're like, oh! Peeking out windows saying paranoid things is what tweakers do. Oh, da da! Did you put on a red shirt before you typed that, and then you went, da da! Oh! This whitey's parking right next to me, right as a red car drives out with two other cars that look all synced up with each other, and they were like, oh! This white SUV just pull up and parked right next to me, synced up with all the other synctards. And this red car is driving across the parking lot, and then he's gonna sync when he gets across the parking lot. And it looks like she's just staring at me in the passenger seat, and then they just stop in the parking lot, and it just looks like she's just staring at me, and I think she was. And then right when they start driving again, this white car drove out, and then they just drive back out of the parking lot again. And then they're like, ah, da da! We're sync-tarded, haha, da da! Ah, ah. truck parked, and then they open their doors synced with this whitey probably. And then they just close the door synced with another car driving out. They're just standing there with the doors open on the car. They just got out of the red truck and they're just standing there and the doors are open on it and they're just standing there for a long time, and then he just closes it right at the exact moment that another car drove out, and then they synced up with other stalkers, and then he closed the door, synced up with another red car, and then they synced up with other stalkers, and then they synced up synced-heartedly, and then they were like, da-da! And then Stevie Wonders and Blind was like, da-da! And then his car is backed up out of a driveway, and then right when he stops, his car hits their lock button. It's like, huh. And then right when he starts to drive, this bird flew over me. And that's why I started to laugh, because it's just synced-hearted out here. This bird just came and flew over me. And it's just too many synced-hearted things happening out here. And it just makes me feel synced-hearted. I'm just like, da-da! Ah! Then these black and silver cars synced up, and then there's more black cars synced up with the black car. And then there's black cars. Synced-heartedly. They're saying, who's that tweaker peeping out the window at us? Well, I mean, they're all the way across the parking lot, and they just stopped there randomly and then drove back out of the parking lot right after they just drove into it. And like, it's probably like, you can probably barely see me way over there, so no. There's a whitey. Ah! There's a white SUV driving in the parking lot right as the AC outside my apartment turns on, and a red car drove out at the same time, and other synced cars were synced up with them, synced-heartedly. And then he's pulling up and parking, pointing directly at me right next to my apartment building with the whitey. And he's like, da-da! And then there's a tan truck driving out and a red car driving out, and they look like stalkheadz. And I think I saw his mouth, and he was like, da-da! That's what it looked like he said. He was like, oh, da-da! Huh? Ah! And the Rothschilds were like, put on your red shirt. And he's like, da-da, okay. This white car synced up with a silver car. And it's synced-hearted. It just makes my brain hurt how synced-hearted it is. And they're just out here and they're just all running around like, da-da! My mustache is syncing with my eyebrows. Da-da! There's a group of stalkers driving through the parking lot. This guy is just sitting in the whitey out here, and he's just sitting there, pointed directly at me, directly next to me. Like parked like diagonally, pointed directly at my window. And then there's whiteyz with red car with whiteyz. And this truck starts driving out of the parking lot right as the whitey turns off, and there's another whitey at the same time. Like this whitey pulled up and parked on the side of the street, and then right when he turned off, the other truck started driving. And then he's going out on the street, and there was a black truck and a silver car behind it, and they just drove through the parking lot and out the other side. And then right when they drove out, they're getting out of the whitey finally. And then this guy just came out of the building at the same time. They're getting out of the whitey, and the driver has a red shirt, and the girl has a leopard print shirt on the passenger side. And they're stalker heads. And somebody told them to put on a red shirt and her to put on a leopard print shirt. And then they pull up in a whitey parked pointing directly at my window, and then they get out, stalkered up, and then do they take the shirts off, or do they leave them on all night? Or what? I don't know, but my refrigerator just turned off, stalkered up with his car parking, and this whitey is driving through the parking lot, synced up with the car turning off. Then he gets out of the car, and it's this stalker head, and he's a stalker head that was my friend for years, and maybe wasn't actually my friend, or maybe he turned into a stalker head at some point, but he's syncing up with all these whiteys right now, and he's a stalker head, and he's gonna go in the door stalkered up, and he's looking right at me as he goes in the door, and he's shaking his head, and he's a stalker-headed stalkhead, and he's like, "Da-da!" They got a Rothschild bot on here? That's crazy. Then it's gonna get sync carded again, and they're gonna go, "Da-da! Oh." Da-da! Oh. There's a car in the parking lot with its headlights on, and it's probably a stalker. There's a stalker. He's getting out with a red shirt right now. Is he a stalker? Is it a silver stalker car? Is he like, "Oh"? I don't know if he was a silver stalker, but he had a red shirt though. He's probably like, "Oh, da-da." probably put on the red shirt this morning and they looked in the mirror and he's like, oh, da, da. And then when I look out the window right now, oh, da, da, I see a white car. And he drives across the street and he syncs with other sinkheads at the other corner. It's like 3 other sinkheads, and one of them was another whitey. And it was black and white and silver cars, I think. And then there's other sinkheads with another whitey, with red truck, with black and silver cars. Ah! Da, da. Here goes the silver. The silver truck just drove right by me, and the siren starting at the same time. Is it gonna drive by me? Is it gonna go da da? And then I think he's syncing up with other silver cars with the silver truck that drove by me right as the siren started. And then he just drove away, and then the siren is honking the horn right after. And then probably like, da da! This white truck is coming in the parking lot. This red car is driving out at the same time. And then right when the white truck parks, I see the ambulance coming out. He's driving by with his flashing lights. And then he meets a whitey at the intersection, and her car door just closed at the exact same time. And he's like, da da! And he's gonna drive back the other way on the other street with the ambulance. And he's honking his horn, synced with the whitey, and he's syncing up. He's honking his horn again, and it's probably synced up again. And he's synced up with a bunch of whiteys and other stalkers, and they were all like, da da, ha ha. And then the white truck's taking off again. The one that came in the parking lot, he's just leaving again. And then right as he's driving to the edge of the parking lot, there's a fire truck driving by, and he's taking off out of the parking lot with the whitey, and then the fire truck is syncing up with another whitey. Oh! Sync-tarded. Oh! And then the fire truck's gonna come back around the other way, and it's syncing up with another whitey. And then it's syncing up with another whitey. And they're like, oh, da, da. And then there's other whiteys driving out, synced up with other stalkers, creeping in the background, really slow. They're all driving really slow and synced up. And really deliberately synced up. Very obviously, like a bunch of stalkheads. And they're all like, da da! We're sync-tarded, haha! And then this white truck's gonna drive by me, and then something sync-tarded is gonna happen at the same time. And he's gonna go, da da! And this black car is driving out at the same time, and then he's creeping up the street really slow. And then right as he drives by the corner of a building, someone's walking out of a building. Out of a different building, though. But it's retardedly synced up, though. And then he's gonna walk over to the car, and then he's gonna get in it retardedly synced, and then it's gonna be like, da da! And everybody's gonna die of brain cell loss. They're all gonna be like, da da! He's getting in a red truck. Is he synced? I think he got in it synced with some cars going around corners. And he started to back up when these 2 whiteys synced up, and then he's like, da da! And he's taking off forward when another red truck drives out and a guy is walking out at the same time, and they're all like, "Duh, duh." Then he walks back around the other way right as the red truck turns, and he goes back out of sight again, and the heater on my wall clicked at the same time. And someone else is walking out of the building. Is he gonna get in the red truck too, I think? Yeah, he's getting in the passenger side. And then they're both gonna high five each other and gonna be like, "Duh, duh." And then he's gonna drive by me with the red truck. And right as he does, there's a whitey at the intersection. And then he's driving really slow up the street with the whitey. And then when he gets to the other corner, finally, when he gets to the other corner, did he sync with these cars? I don't know. I couldn't tell if he synced with these cars or not. Was it retardedly synced again? Da, da. And here goes a parade of stalker cars on two different streets converging at the intersection with each other and syncing up with other cars after that. Having a sync orgy and going da da. A bunch of white stalker cars being like, "Oh, da da." And there's a tan truck driving out. Is he a stalker tard? This guy just walked up next to me. Was he one? I don't know. I think he just like walked out and then walked back in the building. I don't know what he was doing. He's probably stalking. Here goes the guy on the electric unicycle thing that I always see, and he's syncing up with the whitey at the other corner, and he drove out synced with this car driving out, I think. And it's going in the parking lot. Oh, he's coming back around the way on the unicycle thing. And then he's syncing with another whitey at the last corner. Meth is a terrible drug. Yep, I agree. I've never done meth in my life. And never would. There's two black cars meeting each other at the intersection, and another black car drives out of the intersection at the same time. And they're all like, "Da da! We're the black cars! Da da!" And these two whiteys just drove out at the same time, and then they're syncing with each other again. The one whitey's parking when the other one goes around the corner, and another whitey drove out at the exact same time, and then these black and silver cars sync, and then there's another black car behind the black car, and then the whitey parked, and then he's gonna get out synced, and he's gonna have a red shirt, and he's gonna go, "Da da!" Is he gonna have a red shirt, and is he gonna go, "Da da"? Let's find out. Oh, they're getting out of the way. Oh, here we go. They're getting out right as another car is pulling up parking. And it looks like they were looking over at me too. It looks like all these people, except like a couple of them, like most of the people that like since I started this video, most of the people out here are looking up at me. And like they're like all the way up across the parking lot, like they probably can't see me over here. So And then sometimes they'll be pointing up toward me or at me. Or they'll just point in any direction, synced up. And then they'll be like, da, da. You ever just point synced up with something and then you're like, da, da. That's what I like to do for fun. I just point at stuff synced up with something and I'm like, da, da. You ever do that while you're doing a U-turn? There was that one video I did today where the orange car is synced up with all the red cars, and then I walk up and he's got it, and like his window isn't rolled down, but there's just a dog in the passenger seat though, and it's looking out the window at me. Usually they have the window rolled down though. The stalkers are stalk-tarded, man. They're all like, da, da. Here goes a red truck. Is he gonna go, da, da? He's getting to the intersection right as this whitey is getting there, and there's this loud engine at the same time. And it's gonna drive by me, I think. Or is it this car? I think it was a silver car, and he synced with the whitey, and then there's other stalkheadz driving out, and they're gonna be sync-tarded again. There's other whiteys. There's a lot of whiteys. Oh! And this blue car is backing up out of a driveway as a red car drives by, and then this silver car is driving out of the parking lot at the same time. And there's another silver van driving out of the parking lot behind it. And then they're all like, da, da! And there's another silver car. Or no, that's whitey. And then right when he goes around the corner, someone's walking out of the building. And there's other stalkheadz on the street syncing up with those stalkheadz. And then the guy that walked out of the building is getting in a whitey. Oh shit. Da, da! And he opens the door right as a truck drives behind him. A silver truck. And then it's synced up with another silver car, I think. Then he's starting the whitey right as it parks. And then there's other stalkers, and I think he synced up with other whiteys as he took off. And then there's other stalkers on the street when he gets to the edge of the parking lot. And they're black and silver. And they're like, da, da! And then I just saw this guy run like by my apartment again. I think he's being sync-tarded over there. And then they got out of the car that parked sync-tarded, and then they're gonna be sync-tarded again. They're gonna be like, da, da! I'm sync-tarded. They're walking, and they're gonna walk around the corner. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. And then right when they do, my water heater turns on, there's someone else walking out. Right at that moment, my water heater starts to turn on. It's like, other people walking out right at that moment too. And then there's other stalkers that pulled up in the parking lot. And there's other stalkers on the street. And there's someone walking up and they're gonna stalk, right? And then there's these two cars driving out. One of them was driving out right next to me. And the other one was driving out on the street at the exact same time. And they were like, "Da-da!" And I just scratched my eyeballs. And I missed 100 stalkers. And then the AC outside my apartment turned on, synced up. And then there's Whitey, and he's synced up with another car turning behind him. And they're like, "Da-da!" Because they're stalk-tarded. And they stalked all their brain cells out of existence because they're like, "Da-da!" Oh. And this car is parking in the parking lot, and is it a sync tard? There's this other car driving by me at the same time, and then the whitey is pulling in the parking lot at the same time, and then another whitey is turning behind it on the street, synced, and then the other car is getting to the edge of the parking lot right as the other whitey is parking, and the other whitey is going around the other corner, synced. And they were all like, "Doctor!" And then the white car is gonna leave the parking lot again. Another one. I was gonna park in a different parking space right as my refrigerator clicks, and another car is parking. And then other cars are driving out, synced with those cars parking. And they're all like, "Da-da!" And they're black and silver stalker cars, and they're white stalker cars. And then right when he walked around the corner out of his whitey that parked, there's another whitey on the street, and then there's a white Domino's car, and then it syncs with two red cars, and then it's gonna sync with the other red car again, with the other red car, and then they were like, "Da-da!" And then they were like, "Ah!" You ever just drive a white car synced with another white car, and then you're like, "Da-da! Ah!" You know what I don't hear tonight? I don't hear my neighbor talking through the walls tonight. I don't hear that this time when I'm cooking food. That's unusual. Is he on vacation or something? Where's he at? I don't hear him going, "Da-da!" don't hear any sync-tarded sounds right now. Not one single sync-tardation is happening. It's quiet. Except the AC outside turning on and off. That's always going. But I just kind of tune that out sometimes. But that's constantly going though. Even if there's no sync tards around to go da-da. But even that'll turn off sometimes or stay on sometimes or whatever. My refrigerator just turned on, synced with me starting to talk again. It was like, da-da. Oh, and my refrigerator just got louder synced. Oh, my neighbor just laughed synced. Oh. My refrigerator, it'll just get louder all of a sudden. It'll just go from to and it just did that right when I stopped stirring the food. And I was like, oh, my refrigerator's got louder synced, and then my neighbor was like, ha 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 ha. And then he was like, da da. And then this time, there's a white car driving out. There's someone walking up next to me. There's another car. And there's a tan car, I think. And it was at the same time as the guy. And then there's a white car behind the tan car. And there's other stalkers driving out behind those cars. And they're just all going the same direction up the street. But I just know they're all stalkers. And the last car was a white car. And then there's no more cars. And they're all like, da da. And then there's a white truck driving out, and he's the first car I'm seeing. And then he's gonna sync at the other corner. And he's gonna be like, da da. He syncs at the other corner with another white truck driving out. And then it's parking. It's parking synced with another car that drove out synced. It was a silver car, I think, or whatever color car it was synced. And there's other cars synced with the car synced, and the white truck is backing up again, synced with the car synced. And then, is he gonna take off again? Oh! And there's other cars synced with the car synced. And they're black and white and silver cars again. There's too many synced things happening to even talk about all the synced things happening without talking about the next synced things happening. You know what I mean? Like, I could explain everything that's happening, but then there's gonna be 10 more synced things happening. And it's like, oh! And this white truck just backed up. And he's parking in a different place now. And right when he started to drive forward again, this whitey drove behind him, and another whitey drove out of the corner of the building behind him, and he's right in front of the corner of the building, you know? Which is like way behind him. But he like stops and drives forward with the corner of the building behind him, and a car driving out from behind it, and another whitey driving on the street behind him on the other street. And they were like, oh! And then he parked, pointed directly at me with the white truck. And then he has a dim headlight too, of course. And then he's turning his headlights off now. And he's probably doing it synced up with me talking about the truck or something. And then he's gonna get out and he's gonna be like, oh! And then there's whitey's with the domino whitey's, and then da-da. And then there's other stalkers with the other stalkers with the whitey's with the other whitey's. Shit. And then there's another whitey driving by me right now, white SUV. And he's like, da-da. And his license plate says, da-da. And he's like, oh! Da-da. Oh! And then when I walk up to the window, da-da, there's people walking up. They're walking in the door right as the car was driving through the intersection. It was a black car, I think, and it looked synced, and they were like, da-da! And they just like walk up to turn into the door, like turn toward the door right as I'm walking up to the window, and then they go in the door synced with a car, and then this white truck just synced with another truck, and it was a black truck, I think, and they were like, da-da! And then they're all like, oh! Here they come. This white truck is driving in a parking lot right as these two cars are sinking at the intersection. They're both black cars, I think, and they're like, oh, da, da. And then he turns to park right as another car is driving through the intersection. And then there's another whitey. Oh! And then he closes his car door on the white truck right as the car drives around the other corner. The same one that he synced with at the intersection. And the white truck, and then it's gonna sink. And then the AC on my outside my apartment turns on when he goes around the corner. Oh! And then I saw his truck, and he was by himself. I don't know if he's a synkhead or not. And then this red car is a synkhead with two other cars, though. And they're synced up perfectly, and they're like, oh! And that's a blue car, and he synced up with a blue car. Oh! Synced-hearted. Oh! And these four other cars are synced up right now. One of them parked in the driveway, synced with the other car synced. And they're synced. And they're like, oh! We're synced. Da-da! And these other cars synced right as this guy's walking out of a building. And then he's gonna sink again when he walks to the edge of the parking lot, and he's gonna be like, oh! And then he's gonna get in the car synced, and then he's gonna be like, da da! Right when he gets to the edge of the parking lot, there's whiteyz driving out, and the AC outside my apartment turns on at the same time. And it was very synced-hearted again, and it's still being synced-hearted with other synced-hearts. Synced-heartedly. And then a door is closed. I think it's this white truck again. And it was synced up with the cars converging at the intersection. Yup, it's this white truck again. He's taking off. And he's driving by me right as the black truck drives out, and then right as he drives by this car, it starts to take off. It's the guy that was walking across the parking lot. And then he's taking off, and then it's a silver car, and it was synced with a black truck. And then he syncs with another silver car when he goes around the corner, and then the black truck's coming back around with that silver car, and then there's another car at the same time, and they're like, da-da! And then it synced with another car, and then the car's lights are flashing on the driveway car, and then the black truck is parking, synced with the other cars on the street, synced with other cars. And then the driveway car is taking off again as the black truck finally parks. And it's right behind the black truck parking, too. Like, the driveway, the house is like right behind the black truck where he's parking at. And it's taking off right as he parks. And it's like, da-da! And then he synced up with a bunch of other synkheads on the street. And they're like, ah, da-da! And then they all drove out of sight, synced up, and they were like, da-da! And then there's more synkheads coming. They're going to be like, da-da! Oh! And that's just all day, every day. It's just all I hear out there is just, oh, da-da! Oh! My neighbor was laughing again. I don't know if he's laughing synced or just laughing at me because I'm going, oh, da-da! I don't know. know if it's even possible for him to laugh unsynced. I don't know what's going on. My refrigerator just turned off. It was like, da-da! The car just honked. Oh! Then, like I said, last night when I walked to Walmart, like, there's all these cars in the Hobby Lobby parking lot that I think I hear an engine outside that's a stalker. Da-da! There's all these cars in the Hobby Lobby parking lot. Right when I walked into the parking lot, they just started revving their engines. They're just like sitting there, parked in the parking lot. And then they drove by me at the other end of the parking lot with their loud stalker cars. But then also when I went in the parking lot of Walmart, there are these loud cars like on the street, on the other side of the parking lot, driving by really loud. And they were like, da-da! Just right as I walk over the edge of the parking lot, the end of the parking lot, it's all these loud cars, like cinematically. And they're all like, da-da! And then there was a guy in camo. Right when I walked in the door. And he was like, da-da! And no sync-tarded things are happening right now except the AC outside my apartment turning on and off constantly. That keeps syncing up, but other than that, nothing sync-tarded is happening right now. I don't hear anybody going, da-da! So that's cool. It's just the AC outside my apartment turning on and off constantly. Oh, and then in the library today, there were all these kids stalking me with red shirts on. Which is still just really weird to me. There's just children stalking me everywhere I go. Isn't that weird? And stalk-tarded. Like, da-da! Isn't that like, da-da! I hear my neighbor tapping on the wall and I think it's synced again. Like it always is whenever I hear that. And then I just heard someone cough out in the hallway and that was probably synced too. And they were probably like, da-da! I hear an engine sound outside right after I take a bite of food, and it sounds synced harder. And it sounds like he's in his truck going, da-da! Da-da! Was it synced tarded again? Da-da! I just heard this other truck engine right now. I think it was another sync tard, and he was like, da-da! There's this white truck driving by me right now at this moment, and then he's syncing up with another whitey driving to the intersection right when he gets to the edge of the parking lot. He's gonna turn out right when he gets to the other corner, right? Yep. Turns out on the street right when the other whitey on the street gets to the other corner, and then a one tail light car is driving out. Da-da! That was synced tarded. Ah! Da-da! This white car driving out synced up with another truck, and they're synced tarded at both the corners, and they're like, ah! And the AC outside my apartment turned off with the truck driving out, and then it's gonna sync at the other corner with a black truck with a silver truck. And another silver car drives out, and then another black car, and then when the black truck gets to the intersection, a white car drives out, and they're all like, oh! and then two other cars drive out simultaneous. And it's a black car and a white car, and then they sync with another black car, and they're all like, "Oh, we're perfectly synced!" Da, da. And then this whitey just drove through the intersection. I heard some type of banging noise. It sounded like a door closing or something. At the exact same time. And then the AC outside my apartment turned on. It did sync with this white truck driving out, I think. And then there's two other whiteys syncing up, and then they're syncing up with the other whitey, and they're all like, "Ah, that's the." Oh, I hear an aircraft. Is it an aircraft? Oh, is he gonna fly over me? Da, da. Sounds like he's approaching me. Oh. Is he gonna sink tardily fly over me? Is he gonna sink tardily fly right over my head? Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. He sink tardily flew right over my head with helicopter. And he's like, "Da, da." And there's probably other sync tars driving through the intersection at the same time. But I didn't see what was over there at the same time, but they were probably at the same time though, and they were all like, "Oh!" Wow, another sync tard flying over my head. Da, da. Another sync tard flying over my head. And I still see the helicopter. He's flying off in the distance. And he's like, "Ah! I synced on him! Da, da! Ah! Ah! Da, da!" And then this whitey drove out, and he was synced up with a bunch of other sync heads, I bet. Ah! And there's another whitey synced up with the sync heads, and then there's a guy popping out of a door right as the car is parking. Ah! And then going back in the door right as the AC outside my apartment turns off. Ah! Da, da! But anyway, I'll be back on later to let you know what other synced up things happen, because other synced up things are going to happen, I bet, and they're going to be stupid, and I'm going to want to talk about it again, because it's going to be retarded. Because they're going to set off another siren again, or do something stupid, and they might do it right when I turn the camera off. And they're going to be like, "Oh, da, da." It's going to be insanely stupid. I'm going to want to talk about it again. Because it's just really insane and stupid. and it just makes me feel retarded. And I'm just like, oh.